So this morning I'm going through my bigger lambs that have been weaned about 10 days now. So I'm going to go through them, see how they're getting on, see if there's any ready for next week. Keep the ones that are ready, if there's any, which I'm hoping there is because they're looking quite good. Keep them in a separate field so I don't have to take the whole batch in again next week. So yeah, trying to move 500 lambs is not fun. No use. But anyway, we're up for the challenge. Alec! Come on, lammies! So I've got all the lambs that are left in 2 batches now. I've also got the smaller ones that I went through, and they're averaging, wait! They're obviously averaging 37 kilos now. So they've come up 6 odd kilos in just over 2 weeks. So that's good. So yeah, they've done well in just over 2 weeks. So obviously, as I say, a lot of these were just weaned there just over a week ago. So they might have gone back slightly, but we'll find out. And the rest of them that have been weaned a wee while now, hopefully we'll get a pick out of them. So these were all the ones that were, I think I picked them at above 38 kilos maybe, because I picked out all the small ones, so I think they were no less than that. Anyway, but that's the beauty of this Pari, because obviously I can find out how every single lamb is doing, and if it's losing condition, then is it because they've just been weaned? Is it one of the recent weaned ones? Or is it down to potentially something underlying? So as I mentioned as well, I have done an egg worm count on these lambs, and they were coming back at, I think it was 105 eggs per gram or something, very, very minimal. No nematitis, that was only strong bells. So that was last week I did the count, so this week, next week I'll do another count just to make sure that I'm keeping on top of it, making sure that that count is not changing, obviously. And if it is changing, then I can deal with it much sooner and much quicker before it obviously starts to affect the growth rates of the lambs, because we want to keep on top of things. I don't want to be slipping behind and potentially lambs going backwards because I've not been on the ball enough. So that's the beauty of doing the vet pack at home, is you can just gather up a sample when you're in the field checking or in the field gathering, and then take it back to the house and do it when it's convenient for me, and I get the results really quickly. So I can then obviously act on it much quicker, and for example, if I want to take the sample, get it put through, and I've got the lambs in the shed, then I can literally wait half an hour, and I'll have the results, and I can then act on it there and then, and it doesn't mean that I have to take them back in the next day, or whatever it might be. So there's obviously loads of benefits to it. I've definitely found that by keeping on top of the egg count this year and actually dosing them before I saw signs again from the egg count when they were younger, that's definitely helped save them going backwards, obviously. Before, I would never normally have done a wormer that early on, but after doing the egg count, it was obvious that they were needing, especially with nematitis at that time of year. They were just the prime age. Conditions were ideal for it. It did hatch a lot earlier this year as well than the mass hatch, so obviously every year is different, but it was really interesting to see how it's, with me being on the ball and acting much quicker, it has then obviously reduced the knock-on effect of the lamb's growth rates at a much younger age. So yeah, I think that's definitely played a part in how we've gotten so many lambs away earlier than normal as well, considering it has been so dry. That's just my thoughts on it though. There's obviously lots of different factors involved, and as I say, every year is so different and every farm is so different, so please don't compare to what we're doing with your system, because literally a farm a mile away from us could be having to do something totally different, and it's working for them. So please never compare that I'm just sharing what we're doing just because I enjoy it, and I also like hearing from other people because it's learning. And you know, you might see something and think, oh, I'll give that a try, see if it works for me. Or you might think, oh, I've tried that and it doesn't work. So, you know, it's all about trial and error, and you've got to do what works for your system, your enterprises, and yeah, just try and be as efficient as possible. So that's what we're up to at the moment. Oh, it's such a glorious morning. I mean, there is a few dark clouds, but everything is a nice shade of green again. Barley's looking good. Hopefully lambs are thriving. So I think it's also really important to mention too that we're obviously our stocking rates are not high. We're very extensive in the grand scheme of things, which again obviously will help. Ewes and lambs have got plenty of space, the cattle have got plenty of space. They're not, like, yes, they're in competition with each other, but they're not in high competition. It's not densely packed. They've got plenty of scope. And I think as well, when it comes to the lambs being weaned and worming and that sort of thing, I mean, these lambs have only had 2 wormers in their whole life, and that's us in August now. And I think it's important to mention that the system that we run, when we wean the lambs, we always try and put them onto clean pasture. So they've either gone on to silage aftermath or they've gone on to a complete fresh reseed. Now that doesn't totally eliminate the chance of them getting worms. If they've got worms and they go onto it, that's a different story. But if they're clean when they go on and the ground's had a break or it's new reseed, whatever, then that is obviously going to play a huge part of them not getting worms straight away. I mean, again, they can pick it up if they're moving fields or if you add stuff in, etc. There's many different factors, but by me trying to give the parks a break or a clean start, you know, that is obviously helping the egg count as well, and it's allowing the lambs to keep thriving, keep pushing on, because they're constantly getting nice, fresh, lush grass. But then again, that comes down to, we're very fortunate we've got the space. This is very much a grass farm. It's fantastic at growing grass when the conditions are right. So yeah, I mean, that's just another factor. Another one as well to mention is that we're obviously grazing cattle with sheep. Now, the lambs are weaned, we're not. They're getting the fresh grass. But before, all through summer, all through spring, our ewes and lambs are all grazing alongside cattle. And that has a huge impact also on the whole system. Wait. Stand. Stand. So just getting the Pari switched on for when they come round. Dogs are getting them in. Back. So this is all the lambs from that bigger batch. So there'll be just under 500, I think, here. So we'll go through them and see what they're saying, see how they're weighing. Hopefully get a nice wee pick out of them, but time will tell. In, ready to go. just have a feel of this lamb. Feel along his back. He's got a nice bit of condition on him. Good coverage. You always feel the tail as well, tail head. That lamb is gonna kill out well, I would say. So we are just gonna give him a spray mark. See what colour I've got. I'm running a wee bit low. There we go. So as I say, they're gonna get picked out, kept to the side, and I'm not gonna mix them obviously. So that lambs will be going start next week, and then the rest of them will be going back to the reseed. Stand. So for just being weaned, this lamb's done really well. He's done 390 grams a day. So really pleased with that. So we'll just check his cover as well to make sure, yeah, good cover on there. To make sure he's not just put on, grown a bit as opposed to fleshed out. So he'll go out that side and hopefully, well, we'll be heading off next week. So ideally we want more in the left hand pen than we do in the middle here. So left hand side is all the ones that are going next week, and the ones in the middle are all the ones that aren't quite to weight. So we'll just have a quick look at the update so far. So go to stats. Here we go. So we have 52 at the moment that are ready, and they're averaging 46.6, and they're doing 500 grams of a daily gain. And then we have 114 averaging 42 kilos, and they're doing 360 grams. So at the moment, really pleased with that, but we still have plenty to go. The cows and the lambs are grazed with cows and calves, and I think that makes a huge difference, because obviously the cows graze differently to the sheep graze differently to the cows. The sheep like much shorter sward, the cows like the longer, ranker, more mature sward. So the two of them basically go hand in hand together. And it also helps the biodiversity of the soil. It helps the grass, having the two graze together. And as I've mentioned as well, it also plays a part in the worm burden of the sheep. So yeah, we're very fortunate in the system that we're running, you know, all sort of works together. But it's because over time, over years, over generations, we've established what works for our land, what livestock works for our land, how to graze them better, how to graze them together. But like, we're always evolving, we're always developing. You know, I'm obviously trying to sort of make everything that wee bit more efficient, make everything work that wee bit harder, because at the end of the day, the margins are so fine. Yeah, you have to make everything count. But just thought I would like touch on a few different things that obviously we have in our system at the moment that work well, and I think it's important to remember that, you know, to make the puzzle work really. But remember, every year is different, so there's no saying what we do this year is going to be the same next year, or some things might work next year but then there'll be another problem appears. So that's the joys of farming. Every day is a school day, every year is different, but hey, that's what makes it exciting too. No 2 days are the same. Why does one always go up the frickin' back of the gate? Here, get him up. Get him up. Get him up. Get him up. Good girls. Back. So again, another lamb here that was just weaned 10 days ago. He's doing 590 grams a day. Lovely, big, strong, fleshy yow lamb. So yeah, these lambs are doing really well. They are on the thrive and they are doing really well for only being just weaned. You know, normally once they're weaned, they do take a check, they go back a bit, but they've obviously been ready to be weaned. Put onto some nice lush grass as well, which has obviously helped. And the weather's been semi-favourable to them, minus the storm in the middle, but yeah, they're doing really well. Really pleased with how these lambs are weighing so far. Right, I have to show you this. 620 grams a day in 6 days. Some lamb. Okay, so when this lamb just ran in there just now, I thought, oh, he's going to be a nice lamb. I think this is the best yet. 750 grams of an average gain, daily gain, in 6 days. That is some lamb. We are on to the final few now, so really pleased with how these lambs are looking and how they're weighing. They're flowing around here really nicely today as well. Dogs are keeping them up, keeping them to me, which is making the whole process just run that bit smoother. So all the lambs are weighed, the results are in. We have got 125 ready, averaging 46.6. They've dropped slightly, so they've gone down to 460 grams of a gain daily, which is still very good. And then we have 405 averaging 41.9, and they're doing just slightly less at 290 grams a day. So yeah, really pleased with that. Quite a lot, you know, obviously they're averaging 42 there, so there's quite a lot above that. So I'm going to go on to the website and then look at all the individual weights, break it down, and then book in for a fortnight's time, because there is obviously a lot of lambs on the go now, so I need to make sure that they're booked in and I can get them away when they're ready and not overweight. So yeah, really pleased with that. So there's 125 out of these lambs that will go next week, and then I've also got 20 pet lambs as well that are ready. So yeah, another nice draw, and we'll see what we've got for a fortnight's time. So we're getting through the lambs, which is really good, and hopefully they continue to thrive like they are, because that's some serious gains there. Really pleased with that. So as a batch as a whole, you can see here that they're averaging 330 grams daily. So yeah, really pleased. Average weight is 43 if you combine it all together as well. So yeah, really pleased with that. There's also slightly more in here than I thought, but that's always good. So it'll be fine to get a few more mice off the ground. hopefully the price is staying up, but as I say, with more lambs coming on the market, there's probably going to be a price drop. Wait and see, it is what it is. So these lambs have had 2 wormers. I think it's also important to point out that last time when I was concerned about their weights, you know, they were doing 400 to 600 grams a day, a lot of them, and they dropped way off to like 200 grams. So I think it's also really important to mention that then if I hadn't done the feck test, if I hadn't done the worm egg count, I probably would have dosed them thinking it was worms. I mean, they were clean, but as a preventative, you know, we're all very guilty of doing that. I would probably just have said, oh, I'll give them a wee dose and that'll help them. But obviously they weren't needing it, and it's now saved me money because I didn't do it when they weren't needing it. Looking at the gains today, obviously, as well, you know, they're still thriving. There is the odd one that's lost, obviously, that's recently weaned. I see them coming through that they lost a few kilos, but to be expected. You know, I'm surprised there's not actually more, but yeah, again, it's really important that with those gains, don't worm them. Take a feck test, take an egg count, and see if they're needing it. And if they are needing it, fair enough. You know, seek advice if you're unsure, but don't just go in with a wormer, because, you know, that's twice now when, you know, you could have thought, I'll just give them a wee dose just to make sure that they're still thriving, and they're not needing it. So that's saved. There's 530 lambs there, and that's saved on, you know, however much dose they would have had to get. So yeah, I think it's just it takes seconds to gather up some poo and do a sample. Okay, the whole sample probably takes about half an hour, 40 minutes once you've prepped it all and let it settle, etc. But in the grand scheme of things, half an hour to save you hundreds of pounds potentially. So yeah, definitely if you're on the fence, or if you're in that, oh, we've always done it this way sort of period, just try it. You'll be surprised, and hopefully you'll be saving money. Used for second cut, so it's coming on really nice. You can see all the lots of clover through it. This is going to be lovely stuff for the sheep for the winter. So beautiful. So these are the gimmers that I bought as yow lambs. So the dog's chasing me pretty quick there, but yeah, bought them as yow lambs in September, ran them over on forage rape and neeps through the winter, and then they were just on grass through lambing time. And then they got clipped, went out to that rough bit on the hill, so they've been out there just until sort of last week. Last week. And then I am now, because we've sort of recovered, we've got a good number of lambs away, good bit of grass kicking about, so they're on this bit of grass now. So this will be used for the calves, the weaned calves if they need it, or calved cows, but I'm just putting them on there just to keep it down because it's getting a bit out of control. So yeah, they're on there just now, being a bit better to them, because obviously I'm wanting them to be in absolute prime for tups going in about 2 months' time. They also need to get their abortion vaccines, which are ordered. So yeah, just being a bit better to them. Put the yows now, got all the dry yows now out to where they were on that rough bit of hill, just to whack it down a bit again. But yeah, looking really well. They've wintered and summered well, so fingers crossed they will all go and lamb and have twins. I also picked out my pure Texel lambs that were mixed through with the cross lambs. So here we've got my first float of yow lambs coming out. These are all born on the farm here and they will be used as replacements for the pure flock. And then again, the rest of the yow lambs were sort of yow lamb heavy again this year compared to tup lambs, but nice even batch of lambs. And then tup lambs are heading out with the older tups, where they will grow on and then they will be given some yows this year. So that was a bit of a mixed bag, a bit of a rundown of how the lambs are doing so far. They have been growing really well considering how dry it's been. We are getting to the point of needing rain drastically. If we don't get rain through August, it's gonna be a different story come the end of it, that's for sure. So fingers crossed. I never thought I'd be saying this, but fingers crossed we can get some rain soon and just give everything a bit of a drink. I am currently back inside just a way to grab some tea, and then we will be going round the cows, start going round the cows now because they'll be getting closer to calving. So yeah, there's always something going on, it never stops. But just a wee update for you all. I hope you're having a lovely weekend and we will see you for the next one.